It's a tower of borers like everywhere else. And you can see I've got the white pendant from Chromatograph, which is taking off the negative effects, but they keep coming back, and I've got this, so the FOV is going to keep changing, so it's going to keep zooming in and out, and it's dizzying. What the hell? Down here we have all the borers. That sound is the new sound. I say new, but it's existed for like 6 months. But you can see we've got a tower of borers doing their thing. We've got wisps taking damage, and birds taking damage, and yeah, I didn't lie when I said this place was a hellhole. Anyway, there's a hissing noise, which means one of these motors is receiving more energy than it can safely use, but oh well, I don't care. And this, like everything else, is hooked up to the system. These are only on when the fusion reactor's on, because they burn several gigawatts of power. Anyway, actually no, they don't. They're hooked up to one being no static. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, back to the overworld. The other thing, and the main thing, if I can find it, most of these worlds are just like created and are junked again. That one is not even a jungle anymore, at least not in trees. Fusion reactor, here it is. Okay, so now we're in the fusion reactor world. First things first, you can kind of see the fusion reactor over in the distance there, but remember the Open Computer's computer that was reading the states of the Tritium and Tritium tanks? That's what these two bars are. It's sending the data interdimensionally. This is deuterium and this is tritium. They're fill states, and they're showing, how much fuel I have. Obviously, if it's red, I'm about to run out of fuel, and it's panic time. If it's yellow, it's time to start getting ready to panic and or repair. And if it's green, everything's good, and I can go do something else. If it's, if it's anything else, something's gone very wrong. Anyway, these lights over there are status things. That's for the electrolyzers, like electrolyzers there. You can see it turns it off again. Turn it back on. It's over the top of the deuterium because it makes deuterium. This one's the Tritium Reactor, or Tritium Production Reactor. It's, above the tritium bar, obviously. That is lag. Ignore that. Entities. Remember the flying squid bug from earlier versions of Minecraft? That's just another manifestation of it, although a far more terrifying version. Anyway, these four lights are the injectors. This is for the solenoid. These are for the two turbine holes. Turbine hole B does not exist, so it would be kind of hard for it to be on. Turbine hole A is on. I'll explain why its bars aren't displaying in a minute. That's for the preheaters, and this is also for the preheaters. This is basically a temperature gauge. If it's red, orange, or yellow, it can't make fusion plasma. If it's any color of green, it can. It obviously fills from left to right, because if it were started warm enough and then got colder, that would be dumb. Anyway, these aren't working like they're supposed to for some reason. This is much like what I had in the 164 world, where it's like a bar that goes higher and higher depending on how fast the turbine's spinning as a function of its maximum speed. But, for some reason, the wireless redstone things are not working. They're just not. They're not picking up their signal, and I don't know why. Like if I'd probably place it the wrong way around, of course, because things never worked correctly the first time. Whatever. Place that back down. Channel 2000. See, there is a signal going into the other end, but it doesn't work. It works in single player, well, and yet not in multiplayer. Now, I have done something that might fix it, but again, has not made it onto the server, disappointingly. But at any rate, when that works, there will be a bar. Some of these lights will be on. Hopefully, all of these lights will be on this left column, indicating turbine A1, i.e. first turbine in Hull A, is on. And then you've got A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. Turbine Hull B, as I said, does not exist yet. So if I see those bars on, I know someone's been screwing with it. Over here, we have... So the sun's setting. That actually might be quite convenient, because that is a moon. Yeah, the sun's setting, so this is actually really good timing. If you notice, you've got these, well... They're designed to look like Chromatograph repeaters. We've got streetlights. And yes, they're actually hooked up to the day-night cycle. Well, they're hooked up to light sensors. So if we let the sun set, which it will do, and more fusion plasma lag, and I want to kill that wisp because it's not a primal aspect wisp, and they're very rare. Well, very rare, but you know what I mean. And there we go, I killed it. And see, there we go. All the lights just came on. They actually are all hooked up. The wires run under the paths. They're actually all on different delays, too, so that they don't all turn on at once. And if you're thinking you missed it because I was busy preoccupied with the wisp, don't worry, because there's a secondary thing. See this little distribution box thing? This lever is hooked up to a multiplexer, and this lever is actually hooked up to the lights. Basically, if this lever is off, the multiplexer is also in off, or in state 1, I guess you'd say, and the light sensor controls the lights. If it's on, now this controls the lights, and you can turn it on and off manually, and you can see the lights turning on and off at different times. Obviously that's done with repeaters, but it's designed to make it look like, you know, actual streetlights, which, either because it's just how they work or because the city's really bad at maintaining things, never turn on at the same time. Knowing some of the things that have happened here over the last few years, I'm going to guess the latter. Anyway, get rid of that. More fusion plasma lag, lovely. Over here we have the turbine hole, which has only one turbine, so yeah. But it's on. You can hear it, I'm sure. It's not animating. This is another thing that doesn't happen in single player, and also doesn't seem to happen in the overworld. So whatever it is, it's about non-overworld dimensions. I don't know why there's fire over there. Non-overworld dimensions and servers. For some reason, it doesn't think it's on client side, although it is on server side. That might also be fixed. I'm hoping they'll be fixed for V10, but that might also be fixed in that little change I made. We shall see. And the generator is also on, but again, because the turbine isn't on client side, neither is the generator. But it's working, because if you right-click it, you can see it's actually generating some ungodly amount of RF. So yeah, that is working. And we've got world rifts carrying the steam in from two different places. This one, the cyan one, is carrying it in from the fusion reactor itself. I'll show you where the yellow one is coming in a minute. Here's where the fusion reactor steam comes from. I just see more fire. There's a beam of fire out there. Now I know where the fire is coming from. Some plasma is actually escaping. Not this stuff. This is, again, just lag. As you can see, the fact it disappears right over here. But that must be in the line of the actual fusion plasma if it doesn't get affected by the toroids. At any rate, that's what happens when fusion plasma exists, or escapes. Anyway, so the steam comes in, well, wherever. Boilers generated all around the ring. And these pipe pumps, they were invented, well, these were invented back in 1.6, so they're not new. But basically they concentrate the steam in this little bit right here, which then, of course, goes through the rift into the high-pressure turbine. We've got, you know, just a standard fusion reactor build, although it's a little different than normal in two senses. One, finally I've decided this time around to put something safe on the pipes. So there's actually glass covers here, so you know, I can step on the pipes without melting them. The second thing is that, if you come across here, I made it a little bit more failure-proof below. There's also, you know, more, I guess the third thing that's unusual for it is that it actually looks nice. And, you know, the building's been fully built. That's a little bit scary, having that right in front of my face, but oh well. Around here we just have, you know, pipes hooked up. But down here it's a little more failure-proof, because now we've got a Van de Graaff under every quadrant of the reactor, so there's no risk of charge not making it through like happened on the last reactor. Anyway, if you follow this through, or you jump down the middle of the reactor, which is suicidally dangerous, we have, well, solenoid access. This is another sync issue that only happens on servers, where it's like snapping, like the animation's snapping. I'll bet if I moused over the actual Tonality block it would animate smoothly, but, you know, I can't do that because it's buried. But under here we have the power supply for that. It is hooked up through wireless redstone like most of everything else. And here, is the water supply, which you can see is actually under pretty heavy load. Some of these are getting emptied. Each of these is producing 128 buckets a tick. And it's a little bit more than what the fusion reactor produces. This gives you a sense of how much water that thing goes through. So that's scary. Also here, remember I mentioned that the liquid nitrogen, or the refrigeration unit in the overworld, that one was enough to supply the whole base except for one thing? That one thing was the fusion reactor. For that, I need these 8. It is insane. And this is actually more than it used to need, because for V10, I actually cut the liquid nitrogen cost in the fusion reactor by a factor of 10. Because before I did that, even with these 8 things running in parallel, I was producing liquid nitrogen at a rate, or consuming liquid nitrogen about 8 or 10 times faster than I was producing it. And obviously, then these toroids stopped working. So yeah, that's been changed. Hopefully to everyone's preference. And over here we have an uninterruptible power supply, basically an always-on gas turbine with crude safety system. This is what drives the Van de Graafs hooking up the pipes, the solenoids, anything like that. Anything that I never ever want to go offline. It doesn't drive anything in the main base, just keeps the reactor from imploding. Did I say purple wisp? No. And here we have the tritium producing reactor. It's active. Because there's irradiation chambers between every core, it runs extremely cold, produces almost nothing in the way of steam. But it's, completely safe. It'll never fail. It's also making a lot of tritium, which is, of course, its whole reason for existence. And here's the other world rift, because some steam does still get produced, and it gets pumped into the high-pressure turbine like everything else. Below here, we just have, standard item and whatever hookup. In here, we have the electrolyzers, which are doing, their thing. They're probably all jammed because I have more deuterium than I have space for it. But that's okay. And in here, more lag, we have the actual preheater units. Got 5 of them running in parallel, as I always do. I know people say you don't need 5, you only need 1. I'm not convinced you only need 1 for a whole reactor, for 4 injectors. I know you can get by with 1 preheater per injector, but every design I've ever seen that does that has the preheater like 8 blocks away from the injector and on 4 different sides of the reactor. That takes a lot of space and is generally pretty hard to work with. This is a lot more convenient. So, 5 it is. And also because, as has been a bit of a theme, because whatever. So, these are producing the fusion plasma and consuming my deuterium and tritium at an alarming rate. And that then gets piped into the world rift, actually over there, which then goes into the fusion reactor right here. The doors are all automatic on proximity sensors, but the hard part seems to be walking through the opening. Anyway, we've got a render bug on the pipe there for some reason, whatever. And there we've got the other world rift. There's another one right... Oh, no, it's not a render bug. There's a... Okay, there is a render bug, but it's Oh, I see. So the fluid texture has been, connected upwards, whereas the pipe texture is connected downwards, which is correctly. So that's a render bug, and I believe I've seen it before, but I don't know how to fix it. I've tried. But anyways, this world rift connects to the other side just to keep the fusion plasma spread reasonably equally around the reactor. So there's that. This is the other substation for some of these other lights. You can see there's more light control. These are not street lights. Those are actually just for, like, if you're familiar with, like, a lot of tall buildings, they have, like, blinking lights on the top so planes don't fly into the sides. This is kind of like that, although here they're entirely decorative. This building took about a week to complete. Me and Collateral worked together on this. He helped a lot with the great, more fire. He helped a lot with building the buildings and generally the aesthetic design, like second eye sort of thing. Yeah, but the two of us, it took about a week to complete this. This again was not a continuous week. There was indeed like a month-long hiatus in the middle of it. But without him, this would have taken twice as long and probably would have looked twice as bad. So there's that, and +1 to him. He's not currently on. Oh well. Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else. Unlike on the 164 world, I haven't gone into the Twilight Forest in any extensive way. I don't have extensive miscraft ages with other hardware. I largely stuck that all in the overworld this time around. So that might be it for the tour. You just saw for the render go there. There's just okay. I can't get in here easily. Fall into the. Did I just? No, there it is. Okay, so in here is just a bunch of cabling and ducting. But oh, so they weren't the TE ones in there. They were the Endurio ones. Whatever. But at any rate, that just supplies that. But I think that's it for the tour, simply because I don't think there's anything else here to show. I'm trying to double check. There is another set of dimensions I've made, but they're not really worth looking at. Got Desert Flat World, Desert Oil World, Magnetite Production World, which has more mining machines in it. Pylon Calculation, that's just a world where I started eating pylons. I might as well... Oh, this ME system, by the way, is just for pages. I don't know why that is question mark, but just... oh, I know why. It's because I forgot to blacklist it before I got the page. But at any rate, just a bunch of ME system pages, and I can... It's a lot more convenient to store them here than anywhere else, like a filing cabinet, because here you can actually search them, and they're, of course, alphabetized. Yes, I know technically that happens in a filing cabinet too, but those scroll weird, and it's hard to find anything. But I guess, while I'm recording, might as well show you... There's not supposed to be a crystal tank in here. This is... okay. Basically, this world is... It's sort of used as our nexus. It's actually, though, it belongs to Frey, who's... for those who are familiar with... well, if you're watching this, you're watching on my channel, but I have a video of someone on the server freaking out because a bunch of ball lightnings from Chromatograph got in his turbines. That's Frey. This is technically his world, and we've been using it as a... call him a snow over there. We've been using it as a hub just because whatever. And apparently he's decided to move his crystal tanks here because sure. I'll show you his base. Oh, there's an elevator over here. What's down? What's below? Oh, it just takes you down. Me and his bedrock breakers are down there. You can probably sort of see them. There's one over here. This one's probably his because it's got a spot loader next to it. Whereas this one, I didn't place both of these chunk loaders. Oh no, there's two of them here. This is the other two bedrock breakers. One of these is mine. I don't know which. I could find out. There we go. This one's mine. So that goes into... loops around down there. So that means this bedrock breaker over here is mine. It's also not on because... I don't know why it's not on, actually. These appear to be... It says it's... What the... It says it's on. Oh, the gearbox is... Why is the gearbox damaged? Well, okay. That explains a lot, actually. Of course, I never have any gears on hand. So I'll just make them. I think I saw a crafting table. I did not. But that's okay, because I can make one of those, or I can just pull it to the ME system. I'll show you Frey's base in a second once I bring this back online. Just make a bunch of gears. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see. Okay, there we go. That's repaired. Bedrock breaker is now working. If slowly. I really should speed that up, but whatever. I have several thousand bedrock. Okay, and anyways, I'll show you Frey's base. Now, he has been ripping it up over the last few days, so it's not what it used to be. But it was easily the most extravagant base on the server, as you probably can already guess just from what's in front of my face. Also, as you'll notice, it's telling me that I'm in his zone. Because I'm not going to grief his zone, and because I'm in the admin of the server, that's not something we need to worry about. But basically, his whole base used to look like this, with blocks of redstone, and platinum, and diamond, and everything, and it was, well... you can see bits of it still. Imagine the whole area looking like this. He's got his chromatograph thing over here, his blood magic thing over here. Oh, something funny that Frey liked to do. Instead of using multi-aura repeaters, which is, of course, you know, what you're supposed to do if you want to carry multiple colors, Frey did this. He stacked multiple colors of normal repeaters on top of each other. The reason for this is because multi-auras have greater perdition than the normal ones do. This works. It also leads to some interesting diamond patterns as they go up and down. But it is nonetheless very, very amusing. So, yeah, that's a thing you can do. And he's not the only one who does it. I've seen someone else do it as well. Although I don't know if they saw it from him. His ritual table over here. We've got stuff. I'm going to prank him by turning off this floodlight and seeing if he ever notices. Probably not. This is his something farm. Magma cream farm. Over here we have topiary grass, or bluegrass, whatever. Tank full of deuterium. His high-pressure turbine's in here. And is off and shut down. Oh yeah, I saw him take the block out of it a couple of days ago. Over here is his fission reactor is Tritium Production Reactor. This is not the one that blew up because of the ball lightnings. That one has been torn out. That was in the lower level below here. There were 2 buildings here, including one of these made entirely out of chromatograph aluminum lamps, because whatever. Go down here, and the game doesn't freeze. This room used to have a bunch of hardware in it, but more importantly, this room, and those who saw the video will recognize this perspective. This is where the screenshot was taken from, or it might have been taken from this perspective. And the game froze again. There's something here that's making the game freeze. But at any rate, this room is from where that picture was taken. That had all, the turbines damaged and the steam leaking everywhere and the ball lightnings touching the electrograph wires and blowing up. And in there, I don't know what's in there. In there, I also know what's in there, but I see redstone wire. Down here, I don't know what's there either. But there used to be a whole bunch of stuff here. There was autocrafters, there were extractors, there were other things. There was a lot of AE in here. It was actually the culprit behind a really serious issue we had, where the server would, well, not the server, the client would freeze as soon as you joined the area. That, oh, here's more AE stuff, but crafting monitor, that's what that is. So, yeah, we had to remove a lot of that, or he removed a lot of that. And funny thing, this node has been there since the beginning, and it's kind of been like the landmark of the base, at least for me. This, of course, didn't used to be a rainbow forest. He'd converted it all with rainbow trees. Over here he's got a forestry farm, which is one of the reasons, well, not one of the reasons, but a reason, I suppose, why we are not updating to Forestry 4 just yet, because it will break this horribly. It's also full. The other reasons being that basically I don't want to update yet when half the players are still using Forestry 3 and refuse to update to 4, and I can't support both versions at once. So, yeah, but this is most or half-ish of phrase base, so yeah. Special mention to him for several things, including a lot of amusement along the way. But yeah, I think that's it for the tutorial, I keep saying tutorial, tour, simply because there isn't really much else to show you that's worth looking at. I say that, and probably now 3 other people who play on the server are going to freak out because, their bases are here, and I just implicitly said they're not worth looking at. But whatever. So yeah, that's it. I'll continue, of course, making videos of like new stuff as it comes along. Tours, of course, are far more rare. They require a world with a lot of investment in it. Is another tour going to be made of this world? Probably not. But I can't predict the future, so we shall see. Until then, though, well, enjoy. And at the time of recording this, V10 is not far from release, so keep your eyes out for that, and or just let the version checker tell/harass you into updating you. So, see you later.